Have you been trying every trick on the internet to cure PE and you're still seeing no results? Well, what if I were to tell you that you're making the common mistake I was making 6 years ago that actually made my PE even worse? I struggled with premature ejaculation and performance anxiety for over 15 years. And once I found out what it was, it changed my life forever. Understanding this one key thing meant that I went from not lasting more than 2 minutes to being told I was the best sex they've ever had. So in this video, I'll show you how making this mistake kept me from feeling confident in bed, give you a simple 4-step process that will actually help you last longer, and even show you the secret technique that instantly changed my sex life and helped me last all night long. And to help you understand why these techniques are so powerful, you first need to know how this mistake is holding you back. Back in 2017, I was following the internet's advice of clenching my PC muscle super hard 5 times a day for repetitions. But the thing is, this resulted in an overly tight pelvic floor, and it ended up making my PE even worse, which made me feel like I'd never get it solved. So I started to avoid sex and intimacy altogether. Then I stumbled across a 2,000-year-old secret that helped me understand this mistake that I was making and how to correct it. And this is where everything shifted for me. I went from not lasting more than 2 minutes to being able to last as long as I wanted and give my partners multiple orgasms during sex. But first, stop doing Kegels. And if you want to reverse the damage and learn the other 95% of curing PE, you need to know this first step in the process right here. The truth is, Kegels only contribute to maybe 5% of curing premature ejaculation, and that's because they're purely focusing on the physical aspects of the body. And in order to cure PE, you need to focus on a much more important aspect. I was constantly stressed in my daily life and stuck in my head overthinking about work, life, PE, and unconsciously heavy chest breathing all the time. And what happens when we're close to an ejaculation during sex? It's the exact same breathing pattern. The mental stress and anxiety from my daily life was actually priming me to prematurely ejaculate in my sex life. So what is the first step to lasting longer in bed? Step 1 is nervous system regulation. You need to know how to connect to your breath during times of stress so your nervous system can drop and you can get out of your head and back into your body. In through the nose, let the belly fill with air. Then out through the mouth with a slight sigh and let the belly fall. Doing this will have a huge impact on reducing stress and regulating your nervous system in your daily life. But wait, how do you actually integrate it into your sex life? And this brings us to step 2. Did you grow up quickly masturbating to porn, hoping that no one walks in and catches you? I know I did. Not only was I conditioning myself to ejaculate quickly, but I was also reinforcing this idea that the purpose of sex and pleasure was to ejaculate. And when this is a daily habit, it can feel like a primal instinct inside of us, that as soon as you feel pleasure, you want to ejaculate. But I learned we are capable of experiencing so much more pleasure than just ejaculation. And if you want to last longer in bed, you need to know how to override this primal instinct that we've created. So what is the second step to lasting longer in bed? Step 2 is connecting to your pleasure in a new way. When you start to explore your pleasure outside of your genitals and instead use your entire body using touch and a connected breath, you can start to repattern your system and feel pleasure in ways you have never felt before. It only took me 2 weeks to repattern this, and I was able to reduce my anxiety and stress to near 0 during sex. But that wouldn't have been possible without the 2,000-year-old secret technique that I'm gonna show you, or this next step right here. I used to get to a point during sex where I would completely lose control, and there was nothing I could do to stop myself from ejaculating. I thought I was just born with an overly sensitive penis and that I would have PE for life. And then I realized I could change this awareness and connection to my body by knowing it so well that I know exactly what is too far, when to slow down, or when to change my breath pattern to last longer. Instead of a quick 5-minute masturbation session, I started practicing edging for 15 to 20 minutes without ejaculation. It's like training for a marathon. You don't prepare by doing the 50-yard dash. You build up to longer and longer runs to increase your stamina. And that's the same thing we're doing with edging. And in order to be able to do this with a partner, you need to be able to do it with yourself first. So what is the third step to lasting longer in bed? Step 3 is knowing your arousal. You have to know your own arousal to be able to last longer in bed. And it takes practice. You don't learn your arousal after one edging session. You have to go over the edge a bunch of times to realize what is too far and learn how to quiet your mind and get back into your body to stay in control. Now, the good news is practice makes perfect, and anyone can master their sexual energy if they're willing to learn and put in the work. But if you want it to translate during sex with a partner, then you need to know the secret technique and this final step right here. When I was worried about going too quickly, I was only thinking about my partner during sex and doing whatever I could to try and give her pleasure. I was so nervous about not being good enough that I was willing to sacrifice my own pleasure for hers. And this is where so many men get stuck and their progress can flatline or even regress. Because in order to cure PE, you have to be able to share your wants and needs with your partner. And that includes what you don't want as well. So what is the fourth step to lasting longer in bed? Step 4 is open communication and setting boundaries. For me, if a partner tries to rush foreplay and skip right to penetration, it's too fast for me. I feel pressured. I don't feel safe, and I won't be able to perform. But having open communication, sharing about what I am experiencing, and learning to say no to things that made me feel unsafe or uncomfortable was an absolute game changer for me. And here's the best part. Once you establish that safety, you can implement this secret 2,000-year-old technique that literally changed my sex life forever, and it enabled me to last as long as I want in the bedroom. My first sex coach taught it to me. It's a Taoist breath technique called the microcosmic orbit, and it allowed me to circulate my sexual energy away from my genitals and disperse it throughout my entire body. So instead of feeling overly sensitive in my penis and worried about ejaculation, I could send that energy up my body and experience tingling in my hands, in my arms, down my legs, and a buzzing sensation and pleasure I had never experienced before in my life. It was literally mind-blowing. Using the microcosmic orbit enabled me to separate orgasm from ejaculation and last as long as I wanted during sex. And now I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Inhale through the nose and feel the breath go from your pelvic floor to your belly, to then your chest, and then up to your head. And all the while you're visualizing that energy going up the back of your spine, tracking the breath with your hands. And then exhale with sound and a loud ah, and let that energy fall back down the front of your body. If you connect to this breath for 10 plus minutes during foreplay with a partner or during your own edging practice, you will put yourself in the best position possible to experience non-ejaculatory orgasms and last as long as you want in the bedroom. I was fumbling around, struggling for years trying to learn this on my own. But once I got coaching and guidance, I was able to master it in just a few weeks. Now, if you are sick and tired of dealing with this issue and are ready to cure PE right now, click the link below in the description for my free training and book a call directly with me. And if not, make sure you watch this next video here on G-spot stimulation mastery so you can give your partner some of the best orgasms of her entire life.